Hi, this is Amanda with Crafting with Amanda. Small business or artists need your help. You can help by subscribing to their channel, liking their videos, or leaving a comment. These actions help their videos reach more viewers. You can practice doing that right now. Thank you. Today I decided to do something different. I was having kind of a issue feeling inspired crafting wise, so I had this new Timbers paper pack and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna play. So I wanted to get it out, take a look at it, look at the stickers. I can see the trees on Christmas cards or winter cards. Oh, I love the wood background. Just a lot of nice rich colors. Doesn't feel like those rich colors time of year yet, but it's probably time to start thinking about those things. I love the Picture My Life cards. They're so versatile for pocket scrapbooking. They're great, or even just for adding embellishments, sentiments, accents on pages or cards alike. I heard another YouTuber, and I'm sorry I can't tell you who it is, say something along the lines of, "Oh, you card makers, don't be intimidated by scrapbooking because it's just scrapbooking, or it's just making cards in a bigger scale." And there is something to that. So this is the Operation Smile stamp set. $7 of every stamp set purchase goes directly to the organization Operation Smile. It is super cute. And this is the last month that you can get this version. There will be a new Operation Smile stamp set starting in September. This is Make It From Your Heart, Volume 4. It's the card sketches and instructions. So that was my book stand that I have. It's foldable, so it fits in my tool bag. You know, in those days when we used to leave the house to go to crops and visit with friends. So I just got that set up, and I'm going to try to find a pattern to inspire me. And I'm not sure how much is copyrighted, so I didn't want to leave that on camera to find my layout. So now I'm going to go through and cut some of the branding strips, or we call them zip strips, off a few of the papers so that I can use some of these for the card fronts. And I know I'm going to make 2 cards. My goal is kind of just some masculine cards. I've been trying to send happy mail out to people, and I do have some gentlemen on my list, and I just thought it would be nice to have something a little more down to earth, or not flowers. So I know men can like flowers. It's all, you know, part and parcel, but sometimes it's also nice to be thought of. And I realized on that I wanted to cut from the other end, because otherwise I was only going to get like 1 plank of board. It wasn't going to have the seam between the 2 boards that I wanted. So turn that end to end. And I kind of do a dry fit as I go on all of my projects. And I thought, oh, the zip strip will be perfect to cover that seam. So I'm just cutting those down. I think the bigger pieces on the card fronts are 3 inches, and then the pattern paper with the mountains and all the words is 1.25 inches to give us our 4.25 inches wide. This is the sapphire cardstock that I just grabbed a piece of. It's one of my favorite colors. Between bluebird and sapphire, I love those 2 blue colors. So again, just kind of getting a feel for what direction we want to go in. I was trying to use, just so you know, that Crafting with Amanda sign as a way to block the reflection of the light. And as I continue to do more videos, I think this is my 8th video that I've made, I feel like I'm getting better, and things are getting tightened up, as they say. I know I'm learning more on the video editing. I actually started my first Zoom on some recorded video, and I was all excited to show my family, and my soon-to-be 19-year-old was like, "Yeah, whatever, Mom." So, but he did good with some suggestions for some other parts of the video. So, and I decided with the dark sapphire cardstock that I needed to do some embossing and just get some stuff out of the way here. And I'm going to emboss some little woodland creatures from that Operation Stamp on, and I use the embossing buddy to make sure there's no oils on the card, and the embossing powder will adhere to where I want it and not to everywhere else. And I'm cleaning the stamp and putting it away. Now I'm going to do a mousse. This mousse is super cute, and I'm looking forward to using it. I haven't used it yet, but I have it here still in my studio to make some more cards. And my white embossing powder, for whatever reason, I don't know if it got mixed with some glitter embossing powder too, like it got put back in, but it didn't cover as nice as I would have liked. So I think I might have to purchase some new white embossing powder, but since the powder that I have has easily been in my possession for 10 plus years, if not a lot more, I think I can invest in new and see if I can get some better coverage. Now I just have my card base here. And with this, the Tombow Aqua Glue, the blue lidded glue, it takes so little. I mean, the tip of the glue is on the paper. I'm not leaving any kind of raised line. It truly is like, I would call it a snail's trail. It's just a real super thin line of glue. If you leave a thicker amount, and cardstock you can do it with, but on the regular paper sometimes it warps them or makes a bump. But if you need to be able to have some wiggle room for placing some of your pieces, especially with the cardstock, go ahead and leave a little bit thicker, and then you can, it actually will be it reduces the friction, and you can slide it into the place that you want and make sure you have it placed correctly. So I had these strips just on my desk from another project, so I was grabbing them and I'm stamping a sentiment. And I also re-inked my ink pads within the last couple weeks. I had done a catalog of all my ink colors, and I realized some of them needed re-inking, so I had gotten my re-inkers out and did that. And Sapphire was one that needed a little bit of an addition, and I just pressed too hard the first time, so that's why I turned it over. So I've said before, the person that invented two-sided paper should be a millionaire, because it's awesome. Just turn it over. I'm just doing direct-to-paper inking. This just gives it some dimension and interest, and it kind of just frames in what's on that cardstock. Oh, I'm grabbing my sponges here. I can't think of the name of this tool. I'm sure you've seen it a million times. It's a sponge on Velcro that goes on this handle, and it's absolutely fabulous how it works. Notice that I start on my scrap paper off of my project piece, just so that I don't get a harsh line, and then I buffed off any ink that went over top of the mousse. Oh, I did use the mousse. See, I used the mousse. He's just super cute. I'm not surprised that I used the mousse. Again, I'm just kind of distressing the edges a little bit. This is so stereotypical, but boys tend to be a little more messy and dirty and like the distress look. And so I wanted to make sure to do that on the outside and on the inside of the card. And I'm making my little flag banner ends here. Gonna ink just to help that stand out a little bit more and blend in with the other paper, so it's not stark white. And then I'm sure I'm the only person that has embellishments from 10 years ago. So I went into my embellishment stash and I pulled these old arbor wooden shape, and there's just leaves with the veins on them, and there's acorns, and I thought that would be fun. And then there's the corrugated cardboard is what you see way off to the right. And of course the new sequins, I have to add those for a little bit of bling. So I'm kind of auditioning the wooden shape in the bottom corner, and then I have the Spectrum Noir markers, and I love that there's 3 colors on them. I have other markers, but these are kind of nice because you know all 3 shades in one marker work together. So I ended up grabbing the red, a green, and the brown. I'll give you the exact colors here. One was the dark red. Let's see, what's the other one I grabbed? One was the earth brown colors, and then I want to say I grabbed the citrus, but I'm not sure. Yep, citrus green was the last one that I used. So you'll see those between the two videos that I used both of those. So there's your citrus green marker and then the earth brown, and I'm going to do some, it's not really a vein because I know that the veins are in the other wooden shape, but by doing the shadowing like that, it just makes it a little more realistic, if you can have realistic in wooden shapes. And the green was too green on that center vein, so I did it all in the brown and then just highlighted it with green a little bit. Again, just auditioning. I had colored in a sequence with the red, and it was too bright. In this video it doesn't look too bright, but it was not the right red. It was more of a Christmas tree bauble red than an earthy tone for this paper pack. So, all right, is this where I want the sequins? What sequins do I want to use? I decided to try and color in the moose. I knew on the dark it wouldn't necessarily have a color per se, but maybe we could at least do some shadowing, and since a moose is brown anyhow, why not give it a try? It's not intense, but you can see that it adds some color, and I really kind of like it. When I'm putting my finger on the white, I'm just kind of wiping up any of the markering that was on top of the embossing powder. So now I'm going to color in the leaves, and the greenness, and then I went back and added the dark red, the medium of the dark red marker to the flowers, and it really just pops. And you just buff that off, and it just gives it a really subtle interest to the moose. It kind of is a way to draw your eye and add a little more color. I'm going to glue my vein onto my leaf, and then I have my tweezers that are the reverse squeeze tweezers, so I just put that together. And I'm showing you that little foam because the wooden shape will add dimension to your card. If you take some of that packing foam that comes in the mail and different things, and you cut it to put over top of your card when you put it in the envelope, you don't have to pay extra shipping, or at least I haven't had to, so that works really well for me. It allows it to go through the automatic sorters without an issue. Decided to pop up the moose card, give it some dimension. And then the big trend that I've seen, and I actually kind of like it, again, my soon-to-be 19-year-old, not a big fan, doesn't like these little knots of thread, but I think they're kind of cool. So I had that gold thread for making embellishments. I think they're called spirelli, and a gal in my craft group had seen them, and she was teaching us how to do that. And where we used to live, the closest Michael's store was 3 hours away. And so when we were headed to I call it a private crafting retreat, one of the gals that used to be in our area moved, and she invited 4 of us over for a 5-day crafting weekend. We stopped at Michael's, which was actually about the halfway point to her house, and I went in, and the other gals needed to go to the restroom, and I just went to the thread, and oh, okay, I picked up the gold thread and didn't think anything about it. Turns out that I got the last gold and the last silver thread from Michael's that day. They were not very happy with me, but so now it's getting used, and it's been 5 years later. So I grabbed my glue dots, and I'm putting on the sequins. And you can kind of see that I paused to take a breath of where is this going to work? Where do I need something more? I do like to put things on in odd numbers, so there's 1 leaf, there's 1 tangle of thread, there's 5 sequins. So, and then I'm going to go ahead and play on the inside. And this Operation Smile stamp has this little like flowerless cluster of leaves with the stems coming out of it. So I thought that that would be cute on the inside. And I really like working in a clean area. I can think better. And I'm kind of confined in my quarters right now. So until my studio is fully set up with its final thing, I have to be even more careful about that. So I'm second generation stamping. So I stamp off on a scrap paper first and then onto my card. And I did rotate that stamp, I want to say 90 degrees. It could have been more. And now there's these little tiny hearts. There's 3 different sizes of hearts in this Operation Smile stamp set. And they're very sticky because the stamp set has not been used, even though it's been out for a year. My life has not enabled me to do much crafting, but now we're getting back to it. So because I rotated it and I set it up for the one, I rotate my card to do the next one, and then I kind of clean off the stamps and place them for the next 2 little, so they look almost like buds. They're hearts, but they look almost like little buds. And again, they're really giving me a hard time because they're so sticky, but between my piercing tool, we got that all sorted out. Now do the other side. Clean off my hearts. And I got a little smush from the block right above that section that's on the bottom right hand side of the card, and that'll disappear later because I just use a mono eraser and scrub it off. So now we're on to card number 2. Quick transition there, I apologize for that. I think my camera stopped recording for some reason. Oh yeah, it ran out of battery. So this is the next morning and I'm starting the card number 2. And I had colored the owl and the fox, and I did the little bough of leaves and flowers that they're sitting in last night. So have another leaf that I'm auditioning on the card. Don't like it there. How about down here? Nope, not feeling it there. Move it over, try it there. I think we all have to just figure out what works for us. And I like the scale of this bigger maple leaf. I'm not going to put the veins on it. I'll just draw them in. So again, I'm using the earth brown marker and the dark color. And I'm just drawing them in by hand, kind of using the points of the leaves as the guides, I'll call it. And this is the medium shade on the citrus green. And I knew I was going to be adding more layers of color, so I just kind of wanted to do a base, give me something to work on. And now we're going to the dark shade, and I'm doing more veining kind of lines. Again, I know there's gonna, you probably won't even end up seeing those in the end, but sometimes those little details do show up. We'll just have to wait and see. And I decided halfway through coloring that I really should start by my stem base and kind of flick up versus trying to color in different little sections. So now I'm going back to the dark shade on the citrus green marker, and I'm just coloring over everything, and you can see that it's a rough blend. As it dries, it kind of shows me that I needed to do more work. So I'm taking the lightest brown color and kind of just coloring over everything to mute the brightness of the greens. I like that a lot better. Oh look, it's almost like a perch for the owl. And I do believe that's close to the final placement. Again, I'm auditioning some sequins. I love that phrase, auditioning. But that's really what we're doing. I'm dry fitting to see what works, what I need to draw the eye. I'll end up moving that one from the upper left over because it pulls your eye where I don't want. I want the owl to be the focus. So the sentiment can go there, and I learn I need to clean up and make sure those bags are very well closed. Otherwise, I fear that I will knock it off on the floor, and we have really horrible carpet right now in all the rooms until our flooring comes in, and I don't want to be picking a sequence out of the floor. So the first strip was a little too narrow, and the this is sending hugs, and the H and the G and all went off the bottom of the strip. So I found a little bit bigger one. I'm going to cut one flag tail here, and I did end up popping that up on some foam tape. Oh, and okay, this edge distresser is amazing. I apologize because I did not realize that it's a retired tool. I might actually have a few of these in my sales stash. So if you're interested in one, send me a message, and we can, I can let you know how much it would cost to mail to you. But I love this tool, but I won't be able to get to my sales stash until the house is done. So, it might be a Christmas stocking stuffer for you. But I'm distressing all the edges with this edge distresser. And you can't really tell it now, but when you put it on the card, these papers on the card, it actually gives it dimension because the edges are kind of pushed up and curled and rolled. So when you end up putting layers on top of these edges that are distressed, it automatically kind of picks them up and gives them a little bit of dimension. So back to my sponge, so I can again put a little ink on the edges of all of the card here. And that little holder that I have for my sponges is awesome. Somebody had given me a box with beads in it, and I decided to repurpose it. I just took paper and made my own like dividing things where I could stand up the individual sponge colors, and then there was room for extra sponges, which I need to buy a few more of, but also 2 of the handles. So and it's small, it goes in my toolkit. For me, it's just been brilliant, and really looking forward to using that again. All right, another nest of thread coming up. I like to wrap my thread just so that it stays together more. It's easier to hold on to. I don't feel like I'm fighting with it when I go to glue it down if I've kind of wrapped the thread around all the circles. And I just put a little dimensional tape on the thread, so when I go to glue this down, and like I said, the distressed edges of the paper are actually holding up that cardstock with the owl on it, so it's not uneven having that foam tape on the thread. And now again, I'm just using some of the little glue dots. I get rid of packaging. Packaging takes up space, so I take the glue dots right off of their center big circle, and that way I can put them into old stamp envelopes, and I have 5 or 6 stamp envelopes with different adhesives and things, and all my embellishments are also in those stamp envelopes. Again, when we were able to travel with our supplies, it made it easier to grab what I needed. So I decided not to do anything on the inside of this card, but I really like, now I'm going to adhere all the sequins. I like how where they ended up being placed. It's just a cute, fun card that hopefully will bring somebody a smile. Oh, I did stamp on the inside, that's right. I didn't want to do any words, but I thought this would be cute. So I'm just going to do a string of hearts up the left edge inside, and I remove one of the hearts now just so that it doesn't look too uniform. So I'm going to make sure that all my hearts get put away. And we're done with the 2 cards. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And the timber paper is available through September 1st. Enjoy the rest of your day, and you can follow me here. Bye.